Hey guys, my name is Lilly and today it's a really rough day, very windy and stormy in Austria, so I thought I'm going to make another video in the car. Today's topic is going to be the outlook for 2024 and what the future might bring to us in the next year. Now, a lot of you guys are not using Twitter, and I have to say that's a mistake, because Twitter is the only platform which allows raw and unfiltered information. Now, on other platforms, people are holding back, especially YouTube, because professional YouTubers, they don't want to lose their monetization or they don't want to get censored and shadow banned. So on my Twitter account, I post articles and videos and links of information which I find relevant, but also sometimes disturbing and shocking. So now let's check the contents of my Twitter account. Okay, next I would like to show you this video here, which is by Mr. Harari, and he's the spokesperson of the World Economic Forum.
Biggest things happening in the world right now is a shift in authority from humans to algorithms, to AI. Now, increasingly, this decision about you, about your life, is done by an AI. You know, the whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. We may see humankind splitting into biological castes. With the rise of bioengineering, it might be possible to translate economic inequality into biological inequality. And then instead of humankind being united, we will see humankind splitting into castes or classes, and most humans will become economically useless and politically powerless. Already today, we are beginning to see the creation of a new class of humans, the useless class. Not unemployed, but unemployable, the useless class. People who don't have any skills that the new economy needs. Just as the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century created the new working class, the proletariat, so now the artificial intelligence revolution is beginning to create the useless class. A class that has no military or economic usefulness and therefore also no political power. And then the big political and economic question of the 21st century will be, what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games. It's already happening. Under different titles, different headings, you see more and more people spending more and more time or solving their inner problems with drugs and computer games, both legal drugs and illegal drugs. Then it comes to worse, that when the flood comes, the scientists will build a Noah's Ark for the elite, leaving the rest to drown, the rest of the people and then the rest of the ecosystem. But they are likely to be able to construct this technological Noah's Ark, which is probably what much of the elite is counting on.
That doesn't look too rosy for the future.
So yeah, this is what Mr. Harari is saying, and I find it really disturbing. It's like a dystopian movie that we are slowly transforming into. Alright, then the next article that we are seeing here is one that is also pointing to one direction. So here it's saying that humans may be fueling global warming by breathing. So everybody knows that we humans and animals in general, they are exhaling CO2 and methane. So why are they writing it like this in the newspaper? I find it very peculiar that they write this down and publish such an article. So what is the purpose of this article? Next, I cannot play this video on YouTube because then my video might get banned. Okay, then this is very interesting.
This notion to integrate young leaders is part of the World Economic Forum since many years. when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, is that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina, too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. I mean, with the president, who is a young global leader, but...
So Klaus Schwab is really proud that he has infiltrated half of the cabinets of the world with his young global leaders. Then the question is if we are still living in a democracy, because usually politicians should do what we want, the people, and not what some billionaires want. So here the question rises if we are still living in a democracy. Then here we got a video about the digital ID and how it's pushed in the European Union.
Yes, it is. The digital green certificate, the COVID pass, that was a test balloon to get people to having to produce some kind of a QR code, just getting people used to that. Now what they're slamming us with is these 15-minute cities. Make no mistake, it's not about your convenience. It's not that they want you to be able to, have all of these places that you need to get to very close. And it's not about saving the planet either, by the way. The 15-minute cities, they will have to have those before they can lock you down. And that's what we're talking about here. So in Great Britain, some county already passed legislation. They will be able to impose a climate lockdown. That's the next step. That's what we're talking about.
So yeah, this is coming next. They want to make climate lockdowns. Oh yeah, here we have a really interesting video again with Klaus Schwab. Very concerning again.
Self-driven car will come to your hotel or wherever you are and will bring you to the airport. Actually, I had a discussion some months ago with the mayor of Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic, who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free.
Yeah, so they're working on getting rid of your private car. They want you to have no car, so you don't have a lot of freedom, and then you have to use a self-driven car that brings you to the airport, if you still can fly. So that's the next question. Okay, so here we have an article about CO2 and how professional greenhouse growers lift up the CO2 content inside of the greenhouse to 600 to 1000 ppm. So that's pretty high compared to the normal levels, which are now a little bit over 400 ppm. And it seems as if plants are growing better with a higher CO2 level, and especially the quality and the yields of tomatoes are much higher if they are growing in an atmosphere which has a higher CO2. And that's because of the photosynthesis, because plants need CO2 to make sugar out of it. Okay, next, Mark Zuckerberg is building a massive underground bunker in Hawaii for $100 million. So I'm really wondering, what is he preparing for? Why does he need such a massive bunker? Is he gambling on the complete collapse of society? So I think that's really mind-boggling, and I'm really happy now that I have deleted my Facebook account because I don't want to support this person anymore. Yeah, here we have a video of people in China. They want to get some gas from the gas station, but first they need to show their face to get inside of the gas station. So they're using facial recognition and digital ID, otherwise you cannot go and fill up your tank. Okay, here's another very interesting video about the digital ID, which works with the MasterCard.
MasterCard and the United Nations are joining forces to monitor the carbon effect of your credit card purchases. And then you'll hit your carbon max and it'll stop working. Hey, of course it's voluntary for now. The new credit card is called Doconomy. And on the back of the card, it's going to say, I am taking responsibility for every transaction I make to help protect the planet. This is a social credit score, and it's a proof of concept. The Doconomy CO2 credit card website claims it is the largest initiative ever taken by a bank in educating its users on the impact of consumption. They say themselves they want to set a global standard for carbon calculations. That's the key. Once they have their numbers in place, then they can give every single purchase you make a score and punish you directly. This is what China does. And of course, this will only be enforced on you and me and any businesses that don't go along with their scheme.
Okay, there's also one positive news for you guys. So apparently, people are now aware that cash means freedom. So the number of cash payments in the UK has risen by 7%. And that's a good thing. So keep paying cash. That's the only thing that we can do to protest this system. Here we got an article by the World Economic Forum where they describe how awesome it is if you have nothing and no privacy. And this article was written by Ida Auken. And in the article she has romanticized the feeling of not owning your own clothes or your cutlery in your non-existent house. Then this article got removed by the World Economic Forum, but you can still find it in the internet, and the World Economic Forum has forgotten to erase the post about this article. So if you click the link here, sorry, but we cannot find the page you were looking for. So they have erased the article because it was causing too much trouble for them. And here's the article I was talking about. So this is found on the web archive. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. So if you're interested in this article, you can just Google it and then you will find it. Yeah, and this is going to be the last article of today. Scientists suggest eating human flesh to fight climate change. Isn't this crazy? How can a scientist say that? I mean, cannibalism, that's really like, oh my god, I cannot believe it. So my question is, how far will they go and push this topic onto us? And how much will people comply with this? This is really shocking news, and I really can't believe it that they post such an article in the New York Post. And yeah, there's one more article that I want to show you. This was posted in CNN in the travel section. It's time to limit how often we can travel abroad. Carbon passports may be the answer. So they don't like us to travel anymore because we are causing too much CO2. Yeah. So I don't know how long we can still fly around the earth for vacation, for holidays or for business, but it really seems as if it's going into this direction. Okay guys, so that's enough of bad news today. I think it's pretty shocking, very concerning. So it seems to be that they don't want us to eat any meat or travel or even breathe because we are causing too much of CO2, and they are not even hiding it anymore. So they are pushing this through the mainstream news, telling us, hey, we are going to introduce a carbon passport and then you cannot travel a lot. So we also don't like you to eat red meat because of the cows. And if you eat that, you will have a deduction of your social credit score, and then you cannot go to the gas station anymore and fill up your car if you still own one, because actually we don't want you to own anything and you will be happy with drugs and computer games. So I think what's happening now in the world is really concerning. We have some billionaires that are taking over our politicians, and they are not even hiding it. They are proud of it. Klaus Schwab is saying that he penetrated half of the cabinets of the world with his young global leaders that are indoctrinated with the World Economic Forum philosophy. So yeah, guys, what's going on here? So really hardcore stuff to the chest. Now, before I end the video, I also want to say something positive. So right now I'm following a lot of people who are on YouTube and they are building their log cabins in the wilderness, off-grid cabins. And I think that's really awesome. So I think this is exactly what we need right now. We need a independence movement of people, young, middle-aged and old people who are moving into the wilderness, becoming independent of the system, independent of the grid, and independent of political tyranny. So this is exactly what we need to do, and more people are doing it, and I think that's awesome. We want to have independent people that value their own freedom. Okay guys, so this is it for today. I really want to thank you for watching. Merry Christmas to all of you and Happy New Year.